In celebration for the Naruto Top 99 results, and because some of you have asked what Naruto ships I like and what I thought of others, consider this video my unfiltered but brief Naruto One True Pairing master list. It's nothing controversial in my opinion, just my 2 cents of what couples are cute and aren't cute. To be tap that subscribe button if you want in on all the hot juicy chisme I try my best to serve. Hey yo, welcome to Day Does, a channel where you get to watch me talk and draw about fandom/storytelling things. For those of you returning, welcome back, and for those of you new here, slip inside my cozy home, babes, cause you're about to see the constant organized chaos that my mind is in. For this video, I wanted to challenge my art skills and draw mini illustrations of all Naruto couples, even the ones I would rather chuck into a river. I do encourage, however, that if anyone has damn good fanfiction recommendations for any of these fanfic couples, please drop the title in the comments. I'm always up for enriching my reading experience, which means I do not shy away from any rated M or explicit materials, so don't be shy, y'all. Also be aware that I'm judging all these couples based on how easy it would be to write fanfiction on them. The easier, the more realistic, and the plausible the pairing, the less AU alternative universe it becomes. Y'all already know it's giving toxic, it's giving bare minimum, it's giving Sakura doing all of the emotional and physical labor of the relationship while also raising Sarada by herself, while Sasuke gets to make excuses to not be around them or participate. He prioritizes in everything else that isn't his wife and kid. Hell, he prioritizes Boruto more than Sadara. The marriage is a sham. Sakura deserves to be treated like a queen and have someone be there for her, work with her, keep her company, and make her laugh and let her be independent, but also be supportive. But that's where I leave my opinion on this couple. I could go on, and I did in a separate video where I talk in depth about SasuSaku and why it's just a toxic canon couple. So if you're curious and can take it, the link will be provided at the end of this video. To write fanfiction about this couple, you'd have to rewrite Sasuke's personality or write an inner monologue that would justify all of his dickish actions towards Sakura, because them actions in canon were not it. You could also do an alternative universe if you want to rewrite the events of the manga. The only good thing to come out of this pairing is Sadara. She is the most precious child, and it is criminal she never got to meet her dad before the events of Naruto Gaiden. Seriously, Sasuke is a terrible father, and I stand by that. I don't care how much he claims to love her, actions always speak louder than words. This pairing was meh to me at first, and even though I don't like Hinata as a character, I was neutral about it. Then the ending of Naruto happened in 2015, and I realized, wow, this canon couple feels like an episode of The Twilight Zone. If you know, you know. But basically, this couple is the worst written. Much like SasuSaku, it lacks chemistry, both romantic and platonic. I know there's NaruHina fans out there who have written fanfiction that portrays this couple way better, but the canon written by Kishimoto, it ain't it. Utter trash. Naruto has more enthusiasm for nearly everything but Hinata. He never really goes out of his way for her. Hinata, much like Sakura, is the one pulling in the emotional and physical labor of their marriage and relationship. It really just feels like Naruto has settled, and he gives Hinata the bare minimum as well. I want to say at least he was there with her to raise the kids, but I'm suspecting he might have been emotionally absent with how bitter Boruto acts. Point is, this pairing is boring to me personally and is a lesson why settling in a relationship will only end up hurting not just the adults, but the kids as well. Fanfiction wise, again, rewrite Naruto's personality or Hinata's if you want her to make the first move. It'll always be some outsider force that starts the romance for these two, and never something that they themselves will initiate, because it's just not natural. You would have to write some non-canon extra scenes between them in Shippuden if you want to start it from there, or in part 1. Write some inner monologue that would justify Naruto's complete disregard of her outside of a secondary team member. Seriously, he has better interactions with Team 10 and 3 than with Team 8. A shame really, but I'm not surprised. I knew this couple was meant to be the moment I saw them walking together in Naruto Shippuden, and then Naruto later teases them about dating, which is some subtle foreshadowing if it wasn't already obvious. From their first appearance, the vibes, the chemistry was instantly there. And at first I was like, why do I feel so strongly about these two? Sure, they interacted in part 1, but for some reason, I'm getting strong couple vibes. Then the ending happened, and I was right. I went back to part 1 and saw the times that they interacted with each other. Funny enough, there's no apathy between them them despite being enemies. Then when the Sasuke retrieval mission happened, the smile our darling Temari graced Shikamaru with actually made him smile and realize that even though women can be scary to his little misogynistic self, they can also be gentle with the people they care about, which is a reference to when he spoke to his father Shikaku, asking why he liked his mother, who was known to be a rough and scary woman. This couple is healthy and realistic compared to the first two. Temari and Shikamaru acknowledge the other's skill and prowess as a ninja, yet aren't blind to each other's flaws. They know how to put their foot down, particularly Temari against Shikamaru's stubborn and lazy personality, but still come together and show their interest, however subtle, no thanks to Kishimoto. If you're still skeptical, please refer to the example of Temari and Shikamaru being in the same squadron during the war arc, which by itself is nothing except for the fact that Shikamaru is second in command to Gaara, Temari's brother, and during the Infinite Tsukuyomi, Shikamaru has Temari with him in his dream where he's complaining about marrying because it looks troublesome after observing his father and Asuma with their respective wives. The fact that Temari is even there makes me cackle because we all know he views marriage as troublesome, yet Temari agrees with Shikamaru, which implies to me that he prefers to not have a label on what they are. And I think this way because Shikamaru easily could have had his ideal life without her in his dream, but nope, she's right next to him, implying that being with Temari is a very real possibility and something he tries to deny because he and her might look like his parents and sensei. And this is all without looking at Boruto or the extra material SP puts out in an attempt to flesh out the characters. I don't care for the extra material because, as I say, if you have to put out extra content at the end of your story to justify a pairing, then that means it was never that good of a pairing to begin with. Thankfully, you got material to work with inside of canon that makes writing fanfiction about these two easy. Plus, Shikade is everything to me. I mean, look at him. He's so cutie and he has his mother's sass. I love it. I know they had a brief interaction when Sai was first introduced to Team 10 and when Sai called Ino beautiful after learning his lesson with Sakura and saying the reverse instead, leading Ino to become fond of Sai, at least enough for her to have that infinite Tsukuyomi dream of Sai and Sasuke fighting over her. Honestly though, inside of canon, I didn't expect much from this pairing and didn't think it would realistically happen, but since it did, I can say it would have been possible only if Ino made the first move, which is very in line with her personality. I can see Sai becoming fond of Ino, especially since he continues to learn and grow as a person emotionally, and Ino's the type of person to nurture someone emotionally as we see with baby Sakura. It's easy enough to see the chemistry become better and transform into love given enough time and self-exploration on Sai's part. Of course, I can also see him settle into what's socially acceptable, especially given Ino is an easy person to love with how charming and supportive she is to those she cares about. Also, she's got a very pushy personality, so that's also another avenue. So, random as hell and definitely came out of left field, but wouldn't be impossible. Plus, Inojin is adorable as hell and I would die for that child. He's level-headed and the in-between that balances Ino's strong personality and Sai's calm and laid-back personality. I can dig it. Fanfiction between these two would be doable. This was hands down random, mainly because Choji and Karui, as far as I know, don't interact in Naruto, but seeing them together in the last chapter of the series, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to believe they could come together given time and getting to know each other. Plus, Choji, again, balances Karui's strong personality, so it's doable, just definitely out of left field. And the creation of delusional but all the star power in the world Chocho, who is best friends with darling Sarada, I freaking love it. I live for Chocho. So would fanfiction between these two be difficult to write? Nah, we know nothing of these two or how they came together, so imagination's the limit here. I'm pretty damn sure this is still not officially confirmed with Boruto, but as pairings go, it's not impossible. Rock Lee and Tenten share that mutual respect and platonic chemistry in part 1 and Shippuden that makes any transition to romance easy and natural. Plus, if they did officially end up together, Tenten's genes in Metal Lee would be such a breath of fresh air. But aside from that, I don't have much of an opinion for these two. They can work. Fanfiction for these two would be easy for sure. I'm not gonna lie, I was devastated when I heard that Gaara was a single dad. I really wanted to see how he would act as a boyfriend, husband, and dad. And well, I got the dad part, and it was everything I could dream of, but damn, I was disappointed he chose the single life. It's not out of the realm of possibility for him. In fact, it's very in line for his personality. He definitely gives me ace vibes, so it's not surprising, but still, I was hoping for someone. Oh well, I thought Matsuri, one of his admirers, would have made it, but I guess not. At least this little guy is adorable, and Baka Pandy on Instagram delivers wholesome Sand sibling content for anyone starving of fan arts. I feel like this pairing needs its own video because I have so much to say, but let me try to condense it. This is a pairing that could have easily been canon had Kishimoto swung this way instead of being pressured by Studio Period and editors. Now, the reason I say this is because all throughout the manga, Kishimoto illustrates Naruto and Sakura having this chemistry that builds from misunderstanding on Sakura's part to respect and mutual love, whether it's platonic or possibly more. And if you don't believe me, Kishimoto himself stated in an interview that all those narrative clues of maybe they will be endgame and the parallels to Naruto's parents' love story, lending it more support and legitimacy, were all red herrings, which if you don't know what that means, it basically means a clue or piece of information that is intended to be misleading or distract. Normally, a red herring in this romantic context would work if the story was a romance because you want to keep people invested in the story until the final endgame couple is decided. But Naruto, the series, is not a romance comic, so this red herring was unnecessary. Naruto is a shonen comic. It's action and plot oriented, not solely character driven. So it would have made more sense to instead have Naruto interact with Hinata or make her the main female lead instead of Sakura if she really was going to be endgame. Instead, everyone understood that Naruto was so obviously in love with Sakura that he went above and beyond to make her happy and give her everything she wanted. Not to mention the way the manga was making everyone believe that Sakura would actually return his feelings because of how consistent Naruto stayed true to her, even when his dead father asked if she was his girlfriend instead of Little Miss Warm Hands, who he held hands with in front of a dead Neji just a few chapters back. Ugh, seriously, this couple needs their own video. Fanfiction-wise, it's easy enough to write about these two. Sakura already loves Naruto. It can easily sway to romance, especially as they grow older. Naruto has proven himself to be someone she can rely on, someone to make her smile, someone to make her laugh, angry, annoyed, blush, and protect. They better each other and have such a fun and smiley relationship, whether platonic or romantic. I'm still gutted that Neji was killed off so that Naruto and Hinata could be a couple. The audacity, the disrespect. What's worse is that Neji's arc was never completed. He died so his main branch heiress could live instead of proving that he was more than the brand of his family class, which still practices domestic slavery, by the way. Back to couples. Neji and Tenten were kind of a given because she was the only female aside from Hinata that he has ever interacted with. They're teammates, which means he spent plenty of time with Tenten and she's even helped him prepare for the Chunin exams as well, I believe. That's a lot of time they have spent together. Not to mention Guy Sensei held the team back from going to the Chunin exams the previous year, which means they had even more quality time together instead of splitting ways once one of them, Neji, gets promoted. They know each other very well by the time the war arc rolls around, and because they're just secondary characters, we unfortunately don't see much of it happen. However, with fanfiction, writing about these two is cake, because while we know a lot about Neji and his personality, we know little of Tenten aside from the fact that she's a weapons specialist and adores Tsunade as her idol. And she also loves the giant fan from the Gold and Silver brothers during the war arc. So this couple, a classic since 05. Not too out there, but not too boring. The world is literally your oyster. Oh snap, the controversial pairing. I honestly hated when Karin was first introduced into the story because I thought she was brought in to be Sasuke's endgame. Now the reason I say this is because the way Sasuke treats Karin compared to Sakura is like night and day. Like seriously, Sakura is the only one who clearly harbors anything for Sasuke while Sasuke could care less about her. He even treats her terribly and tries to kill her several times and says things to her in such a condescending way that's so unnecessary. And Karin, she's 10 times more brash and mouthy than Sakura. She's also clearly got a huge thing for him, but the love isn't surface level like I thought it would be. Anything Sasuke wants, she does her best to deliver. You could just brush it off as her acting like a teammate, but even Sasuke went out of his way to treat Karin with respect. He never yells at her or snaps at her or speaks to her in a condescending manner. Sure, he killed her, which who wouldn't be pissed about that, but that flashback from Karin revealed that Genin Sasuke once smiled at her as if he was trying to show off, and he had never smiled like that at all towards Sakura. Even after the events of the stabbing, Sasuke went out of his way to apologize for stabbing her. This man had to have his arm blown off to finally say sorry to Sakura. Ugh. Anyway, it's not an impossible ship, and one I suspect Kishimoto might have been setting up had the court of public opinion not peer pressured him into something else. Otherwise, why in the world would you reveal she is an Uzumaki, the last of her kind, and then discard her character? If she was so unimportant, her her status as an Uzumaki and her using the chakra chains like Kushina did not need to be mentioned in the series at all. So fanfiction wise, this pairing definitely can go the distance, AU or canon related. In fact, it would be interesting to see the character analysis of both characters. If anybody knows some good fanfiction about this couple, hit me up, please. Honestly, I completely understand fans shipping them because the way Naruto goes so far for Sasuke that it literally surpasses all other bonds and intimate connections he's formed is wild. And Sasuke, after getting the snot beat out of him, goes all soft and open for Naruto. The way these two are constantly alluded to being soulmates and that they complete each other and that it's fated can easily have people shipping them romantically. It's honestly funny, but mostly sad how these two characters have so much more chemistry, respect, and intimacy with each other than their respective Boruto wives. What I also found funny is that Kishimoto sees himself in Naruto and his brother in Sasuke and modeled Sakura after his own wife. And yet what we got was just the opposite of everything. Instead of Kishimoto with his wife, he's made his avatar near obsessed with his brother and vice versa. This is also the case with J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, believe it or not. Terrible person aside, Rowling had admitted that she saw herself as Hermione and her husband, just like Kishimoto with his own wife, as Harry Potter. And instead, Hermione ended up with Ron, who she modeled after a school friend she hung out with a lot in Britain's equivalent of high school. It really made me wonder if these writers and authors are living out this other life they wish they had through their characters. What do you think? Regardless, ignoring the writer's intent, the characters seem to have this intense bond, and though the relationship would take some work, specifically from Sasuke's end, it's doable. This was an obvious ship that was just easy to ship for many people. Outgoing and charming Ino with a grumpy but reliable when needed Shikamaru. Honestly, it's a decent combination if ShikaTem hadn't made it to the endgame stage. Growing up as family friends, to teammates, to eventually lovers. Easy to write, and their chemistry would be as natural as breathing. Shikamaru and Ino would always care about each other while also not taking each other's bullshit. It's a hearty pair that can stand the test of time. I'm not as crazy about this one, however, because I'm always of the opinion that for a good couple to thrive, the guy should typically be the one slightly more obsessed with the girl and the one putting in just a bit more effort. That's not to say the girl isn't putting in her effort and isn't as obsessed, but apparently, and this from multiple guys I've spoken to that keep reiterating this, men enjoy a chase. And ladies, if they can prove through their actions that they truly love you, they need to go above and beyond for their women and never leave them in doubt. If Shikamaru were to act more crazy in love, I can see it as a quiet, serious, and intense kind of obsession. That's just my 2 cents. Fanfic should be easy to find with these two, thankfully. Congrats if you've made it this far into the video, y'all. You've activated my hidden bonus speed run where I comment in 60 seconds these next few pairings because I have so many guilty ships and crack pairings that deserve their spotlight in my video. If you don't agree with them, lol. Ready? Here we go. Chef's kiss, perfection. When upgrading became the best decision of Sakura's life. Saucy, unexpected, dark romance with a bamf Sakura. Hot. Now hear me out. With both or one of the brothers, I personally vibe with Hashirama because who wouldn't want this stack of dangerous himbo beefcake energy? Considered the god of shinobi to all and whom Madara is obsessed with, dedicated to you. And add time traveling? Sign me the fuck up. Hear me out. Read Something of an Earthly Love by D-Glass. You will thank me. Sexy hot ship, and yes, I'm willing to die on this hill. Imagine the babies! And obviously when Sakura is older. The ship that should have been. It's cute, a little bland because anything with Hinata is bland, but not bad. I've read Expedient by Swift Kicked and I've never been the same since. My obsession is tier 2 out of 5. Fairy tale romance. Minato carries this ship, to be honest. Because I'm tier 1 obsessed with Minato and I found stories about these two and now I can never go back. If mans can be obsessed about red hair, imagine pink. And the fact that they've spoken to each other, my shipper heart never dreamed of seeing them exist in the same space in canon. God is truly good. Time. That's it for this video, darling sparkling individuals. Honestly, thank you for entertaining my insanity. You have been a peach. Unless you're allergic, in which case you have been a stunning strawberry. Don't forget to subscribe, babes, if you want to know when I'm gonna upload my next great thing. Smack that like button. And if you have any delicious, well-written fanfictions about any of these pairings or one not even listed here, please hook a sister up. If you'd like to see me shoot a rapid-fire opinion on any Naruto pairing, add a side eye emoji in the comments and I will happily oblige. Remember, this is all in good fun, so salty Sallies, please see yourselves out. Thank you. My cute artwork here will be available to view on my socials linked in the description box below. Until next time, y'all. Cheers.